This is Congressman Peter Welch.
That's not me, is it?
What, that message?
Yeah.
No.
Julie, are you in a mobile office? I love my mobile office.
Oh my God, I was thinking, my day did not go as I planned, the Julie Isaacs story. So yeah, that's pretty much, I was planning on being home by now. So
No, I understand.
All right, so we are on YouTube and I just started recording, Jen, so you are good to go.
All righty. Well, it is 5:03. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, January 19th, 2021, and this is the Winhall School Board. We'll start first with public comment. If anyone has anything that they'd like to say, please identify yourself and we'll go from there.
hi, this is Julie Isaacs, chair of the Winhall Select Board. So I guess I'm here as a member of the public about the town meeting. Really what the situation is right now is we have to move it and the school board needs to do theirs at the same time as we do, because Beth can't hold two separate elections. I don't know if she sent the email to everyone. And we have already missed the printing date to get our town report printed. So what we had looked at was the last Tuesday in April 27th, to have the meeting at the town garage with the doors open. It's got 30-foot ceilings. And yes, so I just wanted to bring that up about doing that.
Okay. And Julie, are you aware that Governor Scott signed the bill into law today?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're good. We were
Okay.
kind of jumping on just after speaking to Kelly and, a couple other people at the governor's office and knowing that it would just go through, we just chose to do that. All the information from y'all wasn't going to be ready for us to print. The hard end printing day was January 18th to be able to get it out in the legal time limit. So we pushed the printing off until the end of February.
Okay. All right. Well, we will certainly discuss this, but thank you.
So if y'all, the whole situation being, we've got to pick one day and that's it. So if for some reason y'all choose that you want to do Australian ballot, then it will be Australian ballot. I mean, it will have to be Australian ballot on the 27th, since we're doing the town vote on the 27th.
Okay, but you guys are planning to hold a floor vote for your portion of the meeting, correct?
We are planning on a floor vote. I mean, and from what I reached out to the governor's office also about vaccinating our town road highway crews, because if one of them goes down, we're not in a good situation, just based on what they do in the winter. Mm-hmm. And the thought is that Vermont should be vaccinated by the end of April. Is kind of what I'm hearing from different offices. So we're hopeful that between that and having a social distanced meeting, because we can spread everybody out, that would be a better choice, as our taxes are going to be going up a little bit. Not hugely on the town portion, but I don't know what's going to happen to y'all. So we just thought for us, a floor vote made sense.
All right.
So anyway,
Thank
that's
you.
it. All right. And thank you. And y'all have a good meeting. And
And-
I'm going to drive home.
Julie,
Yes,
can I
yes,
ask you one
yes.
question? If for any reason the school board has to move the date due to some legal or regulatory issues, would the select board be amenable to changing that April 27th date to the same date as we decide? So, or are you dead set on April 27th? So if we choose a different date because let's say we have to, would this?
They kind of picked that date because of us.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't push it to May. Because from what Jennifer had said, y'all need, that was kind of your hard date.
Okay.
From what BRSU needed. Certainly if y'all needed it earlier, I mean, a week earlier or whatever, that would be okay. We were trying to push it
So it's not
as
confusing. Right.
right. So just to try that. So yeah, that it would be okay. We just need to make sure we have the time to get everything printed and mailed, because by law that has to be in the voters' hands 2 weeks before the meeting date, I think is the law. We always get ours in sooner than that, but that's kind of where we stand with that.
All right. Thank you, Julie.
All right, thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Anyone else for public comment?
Jen, I don't have public comment. I just wanted to join the meeting. I've been watching them on YouTube afterward, and I thought it might be nice to see it in person.
Great. All right. Thank you. All right. So without any further public comment, let's move on. Randy, are we going to do the recommendation to approve minutes and so on, or are we just going to jump straight to?
No, you'll run through the agenda. So
Okay.
do norms and then the minutes, and then we
Okay.
can run to my report.
All right. So next up are the norms, which I will read. As a board, 1, we will assume good intentions without judgment. 2, we will engage in open, respectful discussion where everyone has a voice and all ideas are considered. 3, we will keep a purpose serving Winhall and focusing on education and taxpayer needs. And our vision statement is to support each child's intellectual growth and academic success while encouraging creativity, independence, and responsibility to self and others. Okay, next on the agenda, do I have a recommendation to approve the minutes from our January 6th, 2021 meeting? I'll move.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second. Sorry, Jen.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any discussion? All right, then I move that we approve the minutes as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, next is the report of the superintendent of schools, Randy.
Okay, so I just wanted to, I put in the new act, and when we put it in, it had been approved by the Senate, but had not yet been signed by the governor, but it's the same version that was signed today. And so I wanted to just make sure that, and we've talked about this, so there's not a lot that that is new, but I just want to make sure that you have all of the information before you talk about how you want to proceed. So you can move the date now officially to a date later in 2021. And if you decide to vote Australian ballot, then you have the option of mailing all to ballots to all residents. So you, and for you, you're one district and one town. So it's a little bit simpler than it is for our other districts, but you either mailing or you're not to everyone or not. The information that Julie shared about there is no requirement for the town meeting day to be the same as a school board annual meeting day. They're two separate elections, and the new legislation says that that it's the intent that the clerks are helping and assisting with your election. So regardless of when it is, the intent is that the clerks are supporting your election. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. If you do decide to mail the ballots out, it's this clerk is the person who would mail them. They're required to do so. So I know that, so I just wanted to make sure that you had all of that information. And then, so we can talk about it before we jump to talking about when you want to do with the dates. So I put them kind of separated out in case you wanted to talk at all about what the actual legislation says.
Okay, thank you. So Dean and Meredith, we haven't really been able to talk about this substantively because we've been waiting for this to actually become law. So I'm not sure where you guys are with the whole idea of moving town meeting out to April.
We could talk about that when we get to the next one, which is the setting of the date. That would be where we talk about it. So this is just questions or discussion about actual legislation. Just
Okay.
if people have any questions about what it says or
I'm
understand.
pretty clear on the legislation.
Okay.
I don't think I have any questions about it.
I'm okay as well.
Okay. So, so then the next item is setting the date. So again, you're scheduled for March 2nd. The intent of this is obviously to have safe elections. So they're putting all of these provisions in place in order for you to be able to run a safe election. So if you do decide that you want to have a floor vote at the end of April, I think there's a lot that goes into that in order to follow the health and safety protocols. So you would want to be prepared for that. I don't know how many people the garage holds that Julie said, but you're in a building, so you'd have to follow whatever the restrictions are that are in place at that time around occupancy and about distancing. And so there's just a lot to think about. And I just want to make sure that you're all aware of the fact that, from what I understand from the folks I've talked to, the intent is to have a safe election, give you options about how to run an election safely. And if you do continue to want to do it in person live, to just be prepared for what that entails for you.
And despite what Julie said about them holding their portion of the meeting at the town garage, it's possible that date or the location could be changed. Like, we're not necessarily stuck on that. I mean, it hasn't been warned yet, so there might be alternate locations that are 100% outside or something that we could consider as well, correct?
Right. So that would be right. So part of, as we move through the meeting this tonight, since we know if you make a change, we're going to have to change the warnings anyway, you could table that to February 9th. You have until February 12th. That's the date we've been given to send things to the printer. That was the date that we got. So yes, you could. And then if you decide to do that, then you need to just deal with all of the possible, issues related to being outside as well. But it's going to be complicated one way or the other. And if you do it on the same day as the town, then, we don't run the election. So they would need to be the ones to make sure it's whatever it is a safe situation for everybody.
So in that regard, we're doing that. We are having it at the town garage. Our warning is already drafted. It's going to the printer after our next meeting, which is tomorrow. And we are doing it on the 27th. The town garage is not a closed building. It's an open building, more than enough space for everybody, for the school and town. It's not a question of Australian ballot, because we do have Australian ballots as part of the town meeting. We are not doing absentee vote like mandatory, as we just had by the governor for the last election, which was a mandatory mail-in ballot. We are providing for absentee ballots up until the day before the election. So up until the 26th, and it's in our warning and notice to our constituents. just so you know, to help you make your decision. So ours is, it's not inside, I'm not sure what Julie said, but it's not inside a closed building. The 4-bay town garage is a huge structure, fully open air. And we're providing for heaters and extension if we need it. So there's plenty of room. It's bigger than the space we've used for our town meeting for, I don't know, the 40 years I've been here.
Okay, so that was my question, is if it would be big enough to house safely the number of people who typically show up for town meeting. But you're saying yes, Bill.
I'm saying yes, and I doubt highly that we're going to have the number of people that we typically show up for a town meeting. But assuming we do, yes, there's way more than enough room in our town garage. We've already made arrangements to move our trucks out.
Okay.
Just so, sorry to cut in, but it sounded like you needed to know.
All right. So I guess before we talk about it, moving the date, Dean and Meredith, what are your positions on whether we should move the date or, you know, keep the date as March 2nd or whatever it is?
March 2nd.
Yeah.
I feel kind of strongly that we have the same date as the select board. And the reason being is because I think during COVID, people are stressed out and life is complicated. And the more that we can simplify things to make it easier for people, I think the better it would be. And so my thought is that we move the date to the 27th, because I think having two different elections on two different dates is just going to really confuse people. It would definitely confuse me. So the way that anything we can do to simplify and make things easier for townspeople, I'm all for, and that's why I think we should move the date to the same day as the select board.
I also think we should move it to the same day.
Okay.
I don't feel as strongly about, I think just logistically, I mean, I think it's going to be a nightmare to try to have the town offices run two different elections on 2 different days. We should try to be on the same day.
Well, and I understood what Beth was saying, not so much that she couldn't do 2 separate meetings, but that she would prefer to not have to do 2 separate meetings.
Oh, I'm sure she would if we asked her to, but I don't want to ask her to.
I don't either. So yeah, I mean, I feel like simplification is probably in everyone's best interest. And I appreciate the fact that, you know, Beth wants to have one meeting. The select board has already moved their meeting. I think for a variety of reasons, it makes sense to move the meeting. But the other thing too, underlying all of this, is I feel personally strongly that we keep the floor meeting as we have in the past, because I think it is always so helpful to have people come to the meeting and raise any questions that they have, raise any concerns that they have, and have a discussion about it, and then ensure that before we cast a vote, everyone has received the information that they need in order to be able to vote according to their own belief system. But I think that information part of it is critical for me, and I would much prefer to keep it as a floor vote.
I agree.
So,
Okay, so if I just wanted, you know, you probably know this and probably goes without saying, you know, your decision is your decision. I just wanted to make sure that you had all the information, you know, that you understood what you were operating from, because you should have that as a board.
yeah, thank you. And Randy, thank you for, you know, getting us all of the information and helping us to have a thoughtful conversation about it.
Sure. So before you talk the vote, let's do the date. Okay. I just wanted to separate them out sequentially so you're on setting the district date. So there you should make a motion and then open it up for discussion and then take the vote
Okay.
around the date.
So I move that we, what's the verb I want to use? That we move our town meeting to April 27th, 2021.
So the annual district meeting, right?
Yes.
The annual district meeting from March 2nd to April 27th.
Yes.
Second.
Okay. So then is there any more discussion?
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any discussion?
Well, you just
Okay.
had the discussion. I think you.
I think we did.
I think
Okay.
you're good. So then the next item is about whether or not to use Australian ballot, right? Which was put on in December when that was the current legislation and the recommendation. So, so if you as a board are not interested in discussing that or pursuing that, then there's no reason for you to take action. So Jen, you can ask the board if they want to discuss this agenda item or not as a starting point. And if you don't, there's no reason you have to do anything with it.
Okay. So Dean or Meredith, do either one of you wish to discuss this item?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to thank you before I disappear. Just so you know, if you had decided to stick with March 2nd, the only reason we picked April 27th was for you.
We mentioned
we
that
would
earlier,
have-
Bill,
we
before
would-
you jumped in.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
but thank you.
We would have gone later into May when we were sure to be able to go outside and enjoy a different type of meeting. But and we still might be okay in April, like I said, in the garages, but we've also had, 10 feet of snow in April. So anyway, great. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Thanks.
you. So in light of this, I would recommend that we not, that we table 5D, which is finalize, approve the warning, since the information on both of the warning drafts that you have are not accurate given the decision. So if we need to have everything to print on February 12th, our next meeting is scheduled for February 9th. So you can approve the warning on the 9th, and we can still get it to the printer in time.
Okay.
So my recommendation is to table that one as well, so we can draft up a new warning.
Okay. Thank
Does that
you.
sound okay to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. Board updates. The one update I have is I did draft the report from the Winhall School Board. Oh, it feels like a lifetime ago. It was in December, but things have changed in about six different directions since then. So I will give to Randy to distribute to each of you the proposed report. I'll try to get to it later this week, but certainly before our February 9th meeting. And then any edits, suggestions, whatever that either of you have, if you can just email them back to Randy, just so that we don't have an unwarned meeting, that would be terrific. And then we'll have that ready to go by the time of our next meeting.
Sounds good to me. Is that fine with you, Dean and Meredith?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Any agenda items for the next meeting?
Just the warning,
Okay.
at least that I know of right now. And if we want to talk again about community engagement, or if we want to actually probably prep for no, because it's not until March. We could talk about community engagement if you wanted.
Okay, sure. Okay, public comment. I don't know if anyone's left.
I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for a lot of work and effort on both the BRSU's part and the Winhall School Board.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so nice, right?
All right, reflection on norms. This was short and sweet tonight, right?
I feel we did well.
All right, so the next meeting date will be February the 9th via Zoom, 5 p.m. And with that, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
27.
All righty. Thank you all.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.